Planes are back up in the air this morning after yesterday's FAA system outage grounded all U.S. flights for several hours. The FAA wrote in a tweet yesterday, "We are continuing a thorough review to determine the root cause of the Notice-to-Air mission system outage. Our preliminary work has traced the outage to a damaged database file. At this time, there is no evidence of a cyber attack." According to a senior government official, that damaged database file affected both the primary and backup systems. The Notice-to-Air mission system sends pilots vital information that they need to fly. It is separate from air traffic control that keeps planes a safe distance from one another. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg directed an after-action process for the FAA, writing in a tweet, "At my direction, FAA is continuing its system review. FAA will continue its work to further pinpoint the sources of this issue and steps to prevent it from occurring again." Yesterday's outage delayed more than 10,000 flights and over 1,000 more were canceled across the country. Joining us now, President and CEO of U.S. Travel Association, Jeff Freeman. U.S. Travel is a national nonprofit organization that represents and advocates for all components of the travel industry. And it's good to have you on the show this morning. So what are the different domino effects of this outage that impacts, from travelers to airlines?
Well, good morning, Mika. I mean, this is clearly a breakdown across the system. As you said, more than 10,000 flights delayed. It's leading to an American public that simply can't count on the reliability of the system. Let's first of all say, I mean, the FAA does a great job with the airlines of keeping the system safe. But safe and efficient, safe and reliable shouldn't be mutually exclusive. There's a way to have the safety we do, but have people be able to count on this experience. In 2022, more than 20% of all flights were delayed or canceled. It's simply unacceptable.
Jeff, one of the things you were saying yesterday is that so much of the technology we rely on, not just the NOTAM system, but more broadly the air traffic control system, was kind of designed in the 1960s and 70s and hasn't been upgraded or overhauled significantly. Can you kind of describe what it's like right now and what needs to happen in terms of air traffic control?
Yeah, I think across the airline system, we are using antiquated technology. What we have in our cars with GPS is better than so much of what the FAA has been using over the years. And there's a lot of complicated factors that explain it. But I think at the end of the day, we just haven't had the desire to build a best-in-class air travel system in the United States. We've been willing to accept these inefficiencies. And I think the American public is too tolerant. You know, years ago, we accepted long security lines and we said, if this is what it takes to keep us more secure, we'll deal with it. But then we saw we can do TSA pre-check. We can move people through much more seamlessly. We can be safe and secure. We can be efficient and secure at the same time. I think what we need is a public that is less tolerant, more demanding of a system that is a heck of a lot more efficient. And we need an FAA that is less worried about petty fines here and there and more concerned about getting to the bottom of these antiquated technologies. The fact that we have 1,000 fewer air traffic controllers today than we did 10 years ago. These are the underlying issues that need to be addressed.
Jeff, no one is suggesting that there was anything nefarious about what happened yesterday, but all of the weaknesses that the incident highlighted, does it lead to concerns in your mind that somebody could exploit those faults in the system to launch some kind of attack against American airline industry?
Well, I think we all know from a cybersecurity standpoint, there are people trying to attack systems every day of every week. And the airline industry and the FAA to date have done a remarkable job of keeping those nefarious actors away, and they'll continue to do that. The thing we can, and has been proven that we can count on, is the safety of the system. We all fly weekly. We see what's going on out there. The system is getting people to point A to point B safely. What it isn't doing is necessarily giving people a confidence that it's going to do it efficiently. So the question here is, how do we balance that safety? How do we maintain that safety? How do we supplement that safety with the efficiency that we demand? I'm confident in the FAA and the airline industry when it comes to the safety side. We've got a lot of work to do when it comes to the efficiency.
All right, U.S. Travel Association President and CEO Jeff Freeman, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.